Welcome to another episode of the OC podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valera. On today's episode, we're going to continue on with watching the OC season 1, episode 14, the countdown. As always, I am joined by my partner here, Kenzie. How are you today?
I'm good. I thought you were going to say season 14. I was like, can you imagine if the OC went on for 14 seasons? That'd be amazing.
Right? Like, what season 14, what happens? Like let's do the hypothetical thing out there.
Okay. Does, spoiler alert, main character still
Let's just
die?
say hypothetically she's still around.
Oh, I think
They did a swerve and brought back the life or something, you know what I mean?
I think there's been some divorces. I think maybe some people came back from Hawaii. I don't know. You know what? Maybe some relationship swaps.
Right. Right. Ryan and Marissa get married. They get divorced.
She marries Alex.
Yes. And then
Julie remarries Jimmy. What if Kirsten ends up with Frank?
The whole mix. It's funny that
because that's what happens when shows go on too long.
Right.
Because then they all just start swapping partners, and you're like, "This is dramatic," and it keeps everyone around.
So basically, it would have turned into Grey's Anatomy.
I'm not trying to be mean, but this is what happened on One Tree Hill. They just started swapping partners, and they thought it was a show. Sorry,
Grey's Anatomy too. I remember, I was invested in that show for a little while. Grey's Anatomy.
I stopped watching it when, spoiler alert, they killed Derek.
Oh my God, the best.
Little did I know that on Thursday they brought Derek back. And
Did they?
I texted my friend, and I was like, "What is happening?" Because
wait a minute, he's back?
I guess Meredith almost dies or something. Someone please correct me, because my friend tried to explain this to me and I still don't understand. I kind of want to watch the episode, even though I haven't watched since Derek died, so I've missed a few seasons.
7.
I guess she's having a near-death experience, so she's in between.
Oh.
And she sees Derek, but because this was a way for them to film with social distancing and there were only 2 people being filmed.
Oh, okay.
But I'm if he still wanted to do episodes, why did you kill him?
Exactly.
Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about Grey's Anatomy.
This is definitely not a Grey's Anatomy podcast.
Can you imagine an OC Grey's Anatomy crossover?
Yes.
Okay.
Julie would be madly in love with McDreamy. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Oh my. No, wait a minute. With Summer.
No, hear me out. Summer would, but he would Julie would weasel her way in. But he would have a huge crush on Kirsten.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd be like, she's the good person I've always wanted in my life.
Yeah. She's the Meredith of this show, basically.
Yeah. And then I feel like Julie and Addison would be best friends. Oh my God, I love this.
We've got a crossover episode. Call us ABC.
Oh, you know who Summer would probably date? Someone like Owen.
Oh,
she'd be ew, stay away from me. And then she'd kind of be into Owen at the end.
She'd probably be into Alex too, though.
Yeah. But Alex is too young.
Alex would be he'd be like the Ryan of the show. Really?
Alex would.
Marissa would probably be with Alex.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
They're troubled. They would.
Yes. Their paths would cross because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would Ryan end up with?
Oh, man.
Oh, no. What's that girl's name? Teddy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was. 100%. I don't even know why I'm questioning it. They would definitely end up together. If you guys watch Grey's Anatomy, let us know who you think would end up together, because apparently that's what we're talking about now. Even though this is a really good episode, I don't know why we're talking about this.
But if you think about it, it's a really good segue into this episode, because there is some potential couple swapping happening in this episode.
Yes. So, yeah, there you go. It was all on purpose.
Yes.
Not a sidetracked conversation at all.
We brought this all the way back around.
It's called podcasting.
Exactly.
Look it up. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Look it up.
I don't know what's going on.
That was probably the best 5 minutes of the show ever. We just had a crossover between Grey's Anatomy and
which I haven't watched for a solid 4 years.
Oh my God, that's a great article. What 2 characters from other shows would have been good together? That's a fantastic article.
Especially because the people that made the OC made Gossip Girl, and that's exactly where my mind would go. Like, who on the OC would be Gossip Girl? 1000% Sandy. Don't even try to tell me otherwise. Sandy would be Gossip Girl. Sandy probably ran a Gossip Girl blog in the OC. They just didn't talk about it. It's probably called, like, what was it? What would it be called?
Oh my God.
Oh, Noopsies.
No.
Noopsies related. Oh my God. He probably was the one who spilled all about the Luke's dad drama, which didn't ever get brought up again. Cool. Like, where was Luke? That was a big moment. And where is Luke in this episode? Doesn't show up once.
Oh man. All right. So we are on season 1, episode 14, called The Countdown. You guys' and our guys' favorite part of the week. I'm going to give you guys the synopsis, which is very just bland. It's good. I think you're going to like it this week, Kenzie. I really do. So
It's me.
It's it's New Year's Eve. Hey. Ryan may have competition for Marissa's affection, and Kirsten's sister stirs up trouble.
I read that, or I listened to that, like, Kirsten's sister is the competition. I might be jumping a few seasons ahead. Not that it's Kirsten's sister. That's an all right one. It doesn't spoil anything. Right. Leaves some to the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of already know, like, who that person is, which is funny because we know who the person that's trying to get Marissa's affection. So, like, 6 episodes, whenever we find out she had the OD before, like, we read the synopsis and we knew she had the OD, overdosed in Mexico before we even watched the episode. If you read the synopsis, now it's like, oh, well, may have competition. Like, yeah, we already know. Like,
yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. Oh my God. So can we talk about how, like, randomly, like, they went and saw a Russell Crowe movie?
Okay, the first thing I wrote down is, so the episode starts with Marissa dropping off Ryan, which is very weird.
Yes.
And they're talking about how they just saw a Russell Crowe movie and that 2003 is almost over. What are they doing for New Year's Eve? It's this huge conversation, and my only note was, what Russell Crowe movie did they see?
Did you look it up?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a Russell Crowe fan.
He was
when
great.
Marissa's like, Russell Crowe's not hot, I'm like, agreed.
Duh.
Like,
agreed. Is that even up for debate? I don't know. Russell Crowe and I, ever since Unhinged came out, he and I are BFFs on Twitter. So let's see. 2003. Master and Commander of the Far Side of the World.
Oh, Master and Commander, the weirdest movie ever released. Period piece boats. How did I not think of it? I just thought that movie was a lot older than 2003.
So did I.
Weird.
But that was an interesting choice after a fantastic performance Inside a Beautiful Mind, which is, I love that movie. But that was whenever the year that he won his Oscar, because he didn't win the one for, or he didn't. No, Denzel won that year. Never mind.
I'm just not a Russell Crowe fan. Don't think he should have an Oscar. Sorry. Different podcast, guys. Different podcast.
If you want to hear about our Oscar issues, listen to the Music City Drive-In. All right. So, yes, 2003 was a cluster. Divorce, bankruptcy, and overdose. So, like,
wait, I love that whole thing. So Ryan's like, this has been such a great year. And she's like, my parents got divorced. My dad went bankrupt. I OD'd in Mexico. Like, which I just want to say is progress for Marissa, because previously she would have broken down into tears and, like, become all dark and weird, discussing all these bad, horrible, life-changing events that happened to her within, like, 6 months of each other.
Yep.
But she was joking about it.
Yeah, she was cool. Like, I mean, therapy working after one shot.
One session.
We're showing promise after one session.
Tony Soprano could never. Therapy
Speaking of Tony Soprano, no, I'm just kidding. Speaking of Tony Soprano crossover episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, Tony and Sandy as friends? Are you kidding? Oh my God, Syl and Sandy as friends. Oh my God, it would be amazing. Oh my God, just be great. But
yes,
Marissa hugs Ryan and says 3 little words: "I love you." And they're hugging, and it's the most awkward hug I've ever witnessed in my life. And then Ryan says, "Thank you."
Yeah. Like, that's the worst thing you can respond and say. Like, if
At least,
there's
I don't know if it's better or worse that he responded or just didn't respond, but it was unpleasant.
yeah, it was extremely awkward. And she's not in the most stable of states, really.
Yeah,
So
to be like making these declarations, it's a
right.
little
Yeah. So that not
little
just that,
much.
and like on the flip side, him saying thank you really kind of put some question marks in her head. And they've also been dating like time frame. We're looking at maybe like a month and a half or so ish.
Like officially, but they've
Like
been
official. Well,
through
yeah.
some traumatic stuff. And when you're young, you just say I love you like pretty fast.
Well, yeah, that's also
But
true
very,
too.
very fast and weird.
Yeah. Right. You just throw it around like it's whatever. They were talking about a party. She said, maybe they could go to a party or whatever. And he was like being all protective and was like, I don't really want you to go because, we could just stay in and watch even more,
Yeah.
like have a Russell Crowe marathon and et cetera. It was very sweet, Ryan. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
being a little protective. And then we transferred to the pool room, which apparently just anybody
Ryan's
can
talking
show
to
up.
himself, just
Yes.
being like, oh, why can't I say I love you? And someone is like, just say it. And it's Haley, Kirsten's sister,
Yeah.
who then gets into a standoff with Ryan saying, this is my pool house.
Yeah.
And then Ryan goes to sleep on the couch.
Yeah. And which is hilarious because obviously she's just like chilling in her like in his tank top
So
and
funny.
and a pair of panties there. Like does everybody just show up and go to the pool room? Is that where everybody just comes and hangs out? Like it's like we know like that's where you could technically go to their house where they might not see you for a couple days. Like
I don't buy it for a second, but maybe I have no idea. Maybe she has a key for some reason.
yeah,
It's
yes.
weird.
Very, very, very weird. Then we transition to the kitchen where we see Sandy and Kirsten just kind of being a married couple,
Very cute.
and Seth walks in and says, "There's no sex in the champagne room."
So funny. He's like, whoa, 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 separate seats, guys.
I do want to point out, I did notice something. This is New Year's, okay? So this was my question to you: the Christmas tree still up? When do you take
well,
down
in
your
my
Christmas
house, my parents don't take down the decorations till like the week after New Year's ends.
tree? Gotcha. Okay, see,
My mom usually does it like 2 days after New Year's Day. She kind of does it before my dad like would go back to work because my dad's always had off till like whatever the Monday after New Year's Day.
Yeah.
He's always had off, and she usually does it like when he goes back to work. That's when she takes everything down.
Makes sense.
So my parents go like full-fledged. Like every room has a different theme, has a different tree.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Right now they have their seasonal trees up. The Steelers and the Buckeyes, one on each side of the TV.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Two terrible teams, but that's fantastic.
Not right now.
Well, yeah, that's they're all. I mean, yeah.
But Seth brings up that Haley's there. Like he's like, "Where's Haley?" And they start making jokes. She's in this country. No, she's in this country.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Or she's in the pool house." And they're like, "What? You saw her?" Like, no way.
Did you not see Ryan on the couch?
Yeah. So funny. And then Sandy is like, there's two reasons she's here. She's either out of money or she's out of money.
And then Seth goes, there's 3-letter word for hilarious. It's DAD.
Pretty funny. This whole scene is filled with just like epic one-liners from both Seth and Sandy.
I did forget to mention how awkward was Ryan sleeping, by the way? Like his arm was like over the top.
I think because that's definitely their like formal living room, and it's like the couch that like you sit on really properly. It's not like a couch like I don't know why he didn't sleep on the couch that's in that other living room with the TV.
Right. Yeah.
Because like at my parents' house, if I had to sleep on a couch, I would sleep on the like more informal living room couch. I wouldn't sleep on the one in our front room. That's like it's like one of those firm. It looks like it's on the Crown, you know. Like it's not something you can sit on.
It's not
like you don't even want to sit on that furniture. Like that's why like when like they've shown like the Noopsies over, they're all kind of like standing around the couch. Like the couch you don't even want to sit on, let alone sleep on all night.
Exactly. Like,
But I just love that Ryan continues the whole charade of being like really tired and grumpy from having a bad night of sleep. Because like when he's like in the kitchen getting coffee, he looks so grumpy and tired. And I'm like, that's how you would be after you
slept
slept
on
on a couch.
exactly a very rough couch at that.
Yeah.
I just like you're right. It was a very fun opening scene, very funny, very crazy.
Even though like for Kirsten, this isn't very funny. Like it's like her kid sister that she's always worried about. They previously alluded to her on another episode with her dad being like, you know where she is, her number doesn't work. Like
Exactly. You're right. So the mystery of who she was and where she was is definitely out there. It was super funny. I do love Sandy's just funny to me. He just had a line, and Kirsten was like saying like crazy things or whatever. And I love he says married 17 years. First thing to go is full sentences. And
yeah, she's like bed sheets now, bed upstairs, and then he's like, it's pretty funny.
It's hilarious. Then we had a moment with Seth and Haley, which the theme of the early part of the episode, obviously, is making fun of Ryan, right? For saying
pretty
thank
funny.
you to Marissa for whenever she said, I love you. So then, of course, now after that happens, we see, do we say his name on the, can we say Oliver without you giving evil looks, or like, is it?
Yeah, you can call him Satan, whatever pleases everyone. But yeah, like my next note is I hate Oliver.
Offers.
Why is he always chilling in the middle waiting room?
When she's
always
just every single time.
It's very weird. I would like to explore that.
I would also like to explore how like he had a flyer for his party as well, folded up.
I wanted to bring this up later.
Oh, sorry.
It doesn't come up later, but it causes me confusion. Like I wish I could see it.
Yes.
Because someone later on questions who's hosting the party. And if he has a flyer, did he make it only for Marissa?
That's a good point. Like yeah.
It's very weird.
Exactly.
I have a lot of questions about this party that happens later on.
But he does tell her there's going to be veggies and no painkillers, which like
fine, but it's still weird because like how many times have they really talked?
Right. I mean, all he knows is,
people can't bring up Mexico in front of Marissa without her being all weird. And now she's making jokes about it with this guy. Like,
yeah,
it's weird. But I like that this is the first time he mentions Natalie, his girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got the Manti Te'o girlfriend.
I remember.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
very weird. It was like, I didn't realize it was like this long stretch of a thing.
Yeah,
but that's Oliver for you. That is Oliver for you.
Yeah, because as she's getting ready to leave, she's like, oh, Ryan wants to stay home, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And then, of course, he brings up Natalie, which was interesting because how the transformation of, like, Natalie goes from, like, this girlfriend to, like, then she's a long-distance girlfriend later on. Like, homeboy needs to get his lies in check, you know what I'm saying?
It's just... So I don't get it. Like if he's pathological, he's not really doing a lot to prove that. It's pretty all over the place, spur of the moment.
Very, very much so. And it's, And if anybody with common sense would just like kind of see right through Oliver, you know what I mean?
Someone does. Okay? Someone does. And no one believes him. Ugh. So worked up already. I can't. I'm not ready for that episode where they go to Palm Springs. I'm not ready.
We transitioned to Haley and Kirsten.
And her Talbot set.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Because my mom shops at Talbot's. And I'm like, okay. Pretty funny. But she kind of tries to make them feel bad. Like,
for being married.
You guys are married. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then Sandy's not helping at all because he comes in and he's like, do you know where my sunglasses? She's like, over there. He's like, my keys? She's like, in your pocket. Like, but honestly, like, that's what happens when you live with someone. Like, I was like that with my roommate of like 4 years.
17 years they've been married.
Yeah, like, come on. Like,
it's not like they're fresh newlyweds.
And like, at least they're still making plans. Like, relax. Like,
exactly.
like they're still out and about, like, I don't know, and like the way they argue and make up, like they're fine. They're like a
Yeah.
couple I don't worry about. And she's over
Right.
here like, you guys are in a rut. I'm like, why are you telling her this?
You're like
I'm like,
planting things. We know what happens throughout this episode now that leads your planting of, obviously we understand why she's planting
she
all this.
is pathological.
Yes, exactly.
She needs therapy. She sets out more traps than Oliver does because Oliver's just like has no idea what's going on. But like,
Yeah, Haley just lies to everybody. Oliver is just lying right now to Marissa. Like Haley's just trying to get everybody out of the house, obviously, for obvious reasons. But yeah, she calls her out. She said, "You're boring now," and just putting Lazy's crazy ideas in. And the crazy thing about it is, like, we just got away from, the relationship or the situation with Rachel. You know what I mean? Like that just happened, right? You know
yeah,
what I'm
like
saying?
let them just be comfortable.
Right.
Like,
You know.
because like they could just be chilling at home on New Year's, but at least they're going through the motions to go to dinner. Like, that's
Yeah.
enough for them.
They
like,
have plans on New Year's that doesn't involve just it's whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously, and then we could transition. Seth tells Sandy and Kirsten now. He's telling everybody.
I love that he just like tells everyone, and then Sandy and Seth continue their hilarious, like, he's like, we're not broken up, we're just not spending New Year's Eve together. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, Sandy's leaving, and he had told him about the whole thank you thing, and he's like, I love you, Dad. And he's like, thank you.
It's so good.
Like, it's just so mean because it's actually like horrible and relationship ending, and them not spending New Year's Eve together is quite a statement. But okay, so Marissa comes over, they get in that fight about not going out on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
I don't understand why she doesn't see his side of it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And like, she doesn't bring up like, let's just go, we won't drink, you can be with me.
Yeah.
Like, we'll bring Summer and Seth or whatever, like we'll make a thing of it.
Right.
Like, they don't try to compromise. And then she also like doesn't see his side of it, that like,
not at all.
She did just get trashed at a company party, and like they almost got arrested. Like,
yeah.
She clearly has a problem, and she's like, you're just being a bad boyfriend. Like,
yeah, like,
it's
no,
just so annoying to me because I'm like, he's actually not. And like, genuinely, there is a reason she should not be at a party with alcohol right now.
Yeah, and like, I mean, you date back to that, and you go back to Thanksgiving. We know what happened at Thanksgiving. Like, there's a track record here of Marissa and alcohol, or Marissa at parties just not doing okay.
And it's just like, I don't know, like, relax. Like, just take take a breather, because it's been like maximum a week since the Christmas party incident.
Right.
So
it's
I'm
New
like,
Year's. It's 6 days. Like, it's Christmas.
Just like chillax. Like, you don't need to like, and like, to me, especially if like Sandy and Kirsten are gone, like, aren't they teenagers? Like, won't they just like take advantage of the house being empty?
Exactly.
Like, I just like, I don't know, it was weird. And but like, normally
got Oliver in there though, you know what I mean? Like,
whispering in her ear, like, exactly. I'm in therapy, it's fine, there won't be alcohol.
Yeah, there'll be veggies and no painkillers, you know what I mean?
Shut up. Like, get the fuck out of here, stupid guy. Ugh. But then Haley is trying to she like comes in and sees that Seth and Ryan are still in the house after she spent all this time trying to get Sandy and Kirsten out, telling them to go to some party of her friends. It'll be fun. So she gets them out the door and confirms that they're going to be gone for a while. And she comes back in and sees Seth and Ryan chilling in the living room. Mm-hmm. And her explanation to Ryan as to why he needs to go.
So good.
It is truly, like, there's all these tweets going around, like, what's something that's Shakespearean but isn't?
Yes.
This scene where she's 100%. Like 10, 9, 8. She looks around. Who's she going to pair off with? She's fine. She's alone. 7, 6, 5. She sees Oliver. They lock eyes. I'm like, oh my God. I could see it happening. Like, and then immediately Ryan and Seth get dressed. They're out the door. Almost.
Yep.
They're like, are you going to be okay? She's like, yeah, I'm going to take it easy. Hang low. They open the door, 1 million people come in, just spraying champagne, party poppers, like it's midnight, like
Yes.
they're like, take it easy, hang low, like just so they obviously don't leave because
the complete
Haley
opposite.
invited 7,000 people from Newport over.
So the question is, why don't they leave there?
I
Why
think
not
they
let Haley
think-
bury herself? You know what I mean?
Because I think they think like it's gonna be like destructive if they leave, which is true because when they go inside, they get locked in somewhere later.
Yes.
It's more destructive than when they're out there.
So we transition to the party.
Which, by the way, they show a hotel that's not the Four Seasons for the outside, and it is really funny to me. Then it doesn't really look that nice.
No.
Like, it's nice, but you can tell it's a set, one.
Yes.
Two, like, the penthouse looks like a regular hotel room.
Yeah. It did, like, when I think of a nice looking penthouse, I think of like The Hangover, right? You know what I mean? Like, that was.
It's just, I don't know, it was weird. It was very small. And there's no way he has the penthouse of the Four Seasons on New Year's Eve. And it's like that low key.
Yeah, it's no, because it would have, first of all, it's going to cost a lot of money because it's New Year's, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. But yeah, it was not as, I mean, but, you know, obviously we're keeping it low key with veggies and, you know, non-alcoholic beverages here. I do have an issue. We see Summer, right? What was up with Summer's makeup here? Like, was it a bad tan? Like, what was going on here?
It's definitely the tan. The spray tan is pretty next level. But at that time, it was, like, cool to be, like, overtly tan. Like Charlize Theron at the Oscars.
Oh, God, that's rough.
But, I mean, at the time, though, it didn't look bad. It just looks bad now. And I think that's exactly what's happening. And her hair is, like, dyed way too dark. Like, later on, she gets, like, some depth to her hair. Like, this, it's just, like, you're going to be brunette. Like, it's not, like, layered properly. It's not a good look. So it's, like, really dark hair and then, like, a really bad tan is, like, accentuating that it does not look good.
So awkward.
But I like that, like, they never show Summer and Marissa talking. So it's just, like, them hyping each other up. They're like, you know what? Screw the boys. Like, we're at the Four Seasons on New Year's Eve. And I'm like, you know what? That would have been me in high school. Like, screw boys. Like, I'm at this cool party. Like, But I wish I had seen the conversation of, like, Marissa being like, I'll be the designated driver, Summer. Like, you get trashed. Because they used to always go to these parties and get trashed. And now that Marissa's not drinking, like, was there a conversation? Like, you get trashed.
I can be DD now. Like,
Like, because, or was Marissa like, Summer, please don't drink around me. Like,
how did that go? Like, no, and we see, like,
because Summer isn't always the best friend to Marissa. So I'm really curious as to what went down.
Yeah,
because then, but they never really show them being friends. They're just like, we're just led to believe they're best friends, but we never see them really being friends. Yeah, it's really weird.
Show places together. Obviously, we see the rival of Anna here. Walks up and gives Marissa a big old hug.
I wrote this down 3 times. Are Marissa and Anna friends?
I don't know. Like, I literally was gonna ask you, did I miss something? Because when she walks up,
if I was Summer's best friend, like, Marissa's, I mean, like, Anna would be enemy number 1. Like,
exactly.
Not that Anna did anything wrong. Just,
but think about it, because she got mad. Like, she was mad that they had lunch together.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't even like they had lunch together.
No.
It's just like she was there.
So Seth is the enemy, but Seth at the time was the enemy because he was talking to both her and her.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
Yeah.
But my favorite, this is like where clues start dropping. If you have not watched this show before, Anna goes, I'm friends with the guy who's throwing this party. And Marissa goes, oh, you know Oliver? And Anna's like, who was that? And then Oliver comes through and doesn't say anything to Anna. It's like hugs Marissa, and he takes her away from Anna.
Yeah. So
which
weird.
Is even weirder.
Yes.
Like, he separates them. And I'm like, what's that about? Like,
isn't Oliver supposed to? It's supposed to be Oliver's party.
His name is on the invitation or flyer or whatever he gave to Marissa. Then how does Anna not know that he's the one throwing the party?
Exactly.
It's weird.
Oliver
it's suspicious.
Is a liar.
Did he just print one flyer to give to Marissa?
Wouldn't that be such a...
That would be fucking crazy.
That would...
Like, that would be like, we're talking about how he's bad at lying. Like, that's next level lying.
That's spectacular. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's pretty spectacular. Sandy Kirsten, are we in a
The
rut?
funniest thing, he's like, are we in a rut? We need to take more chances. He's like, GPS lady says turn left. I'm going to turn right. One, this bothers me because that is like peak, I'm not taking what you're saying seriously. Like, I'm just going to like disobey the GPS lady. Like, that's dumb. It makes no sense. But it was really funny because Kirsten's like, please don't. But then she laughed. So I'm like, he knows the way to her heart is to make her laugh.
Exactly.
So it like worked out. But I just like that she's like, you know what? We don't need to go to the restaurant. Let's just go straight to the party.
Right.
He's like, you know what? Okay.
And he goes,
And that made me feel better because I thought when he did the whole GPS thing, he wasn't really paying attention to her true conversation.
yeah.
Like, he was just kind of taking it lighthearted and like she was genuinely asking.
Right.
But then when he was like, you know what? Yeah, let's just go straight to the party. I was like, he's taking initiative and like exploring new things.
I do love whenever he goes, I hate to defy the GPS lady anyway.
And he talks about how her voice gets, like, she gets angry. And it's, like, so funny because she's, like, monotone. It was really funny. This is back in the day, too, when you had GPS in your car. That meant you were, like, ultra rich.
Oh, my God, yes.
Like, it wasn't like oh, it comes in most standard cars. Like, this was, like, you are rich,
mm-hmm.
which was hilarious.
Oof.
The next scene is them talking, like, Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I said Oliver, Kenzie's favorite person, is back making a move again.
So, I have a lot to say about this. Okay. One, he waits for Marissa to be like, Ryan's not here. And he's like, I could see that. And I'm like, so why did you wait?
Exactly.
Like, it was weird. Two, I think it's really weird that she does not know him and she gives him so much information.
Open book.
It's very weird because to everyone else, she's very closed off, including Ryan.
Exactly.
And I'm like, why are you opening up to this guy? Like, two, then she's like, well, where's Natalie? And I'm like, how are you so dumb?
To realize that.
Valedictorian, get out of here. Like, there's no way. Like, use context clues. Like, there's no Natalie. Come on.
None.
Ugh. And, like, stop saying mojito.
He says it like 70.
And he, like, says it the way, like, when white people, I don't do this because I'm from Texas and it drives me nuts when people do this, like, imitate an accent.
Oh my God.
When you go somewhere, like, that's how he's doing it. And I'm like, stop it. Like, you're white. I understand. I say this as a white person. I just hate it so much. Like, you don't have to imitate an accent to say a word.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like whenever like you have the random white friend that goes to the Mexican restaurants and tries to order in Spanish.
I'm like, you took Spanish in high school. You don't have to pretend you know anything. Like, it's more annoying.
Like the rest of us. Like, I mean, they know what you're saying. Like,
it's like when I go to an Italian restaurant and it's like actually an Italian, I just point because I'm like, I truly like don't know what to say. Like, I'm not gonna try. But then if someone says it, I like repeat it when they're not around because I'm like,
well, yeah, like,
but I'm not gonna be like,
mojito,
it. Please, like, get out of here. God, he's the worst. Of course, he has this personality trait. Of course. He probably like goes to Mexican restaurants. He's like, can I get a guacamole? And he thinks he's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's not even how you say it. Oh, can you imagine him ordering at Chipotle? How do you think he says Chipotle? He's probably like, Chipotle? Oh my God, I hate him.
Oh my goodness.
But of course, Natalie's a no-show because Natalie's not a person.
Long distance relationship, Kenzie.
He changed his course like 7 times. Like, first they go to the same high school or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now they're in a long distance relationship. Like, does she go to Trinity or wherever you say you go? Or, and then he tries to say that his parents own the 4 Seasons.
Yeah.
What?
Like, I would love to watch it just like that part back and like the count how many lies that he says in the matter of like.
There's at least 7. Like,
it's so bad. It's so bad. And then of course we transition back to the party. Well, the bigger party at the Cohen's house. as we see, the house is somewhat getting destroyed very, very, very violently. But we also find out at this particular time that Haley owes lots of money or some money, a couple $100,
I
$1,000.
get the sense she owes a lot of different people a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. 100%.
Because the one person is confronting her and she's like, you owe me 3,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait till so-and-so shows up. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, this girl owes half of Newport money. Which to me, I'm still like, I don't understand why you would show up then.
Yeah, that doesn't, which they also question as well. Like, whenever those girls
like,
get there later on, I cannot believe she came back. Like,
yeah, like, if you're in this much trouble, just, like, call dad, get a wire transfer. Like, exactly. I don't understand.
She's probably one of those ones that gets the wire transfer and then goes and spends it instead of goes and pays the bills that she needs.
Yeah.
She's one of those people.
Horrible.
We transferred to Kirsten and Sandy, who show up to this party, which...
where they spot a Noopsie.
Yes.
Karen, Queen Noopsie, the worst one.
When you first see the party, obviously we don't, if you're watching it for the first time, you're watching it and you're like, oh, this is just like it's like a
dinner.
Right. It's like a
dinner party.
It's like a couple party. You know what I mean? You go there.
There's just a bunch of couples.
Yeah, exactly. Which
technically it is. But then Taryn, Noopsie, walks up. Which, by the way, they never show her husband. I'm like, who is it?
No, they never say this one particular. No, she just had eyes for Sandy as soon as he walked in the door.
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But those eyebrows, come on.
Everybody had eyes for Sandy that night.
Yeah, and Sandy has one of those personalities on top of it.
Like, he's very, yes.
But so it's a swingers party.
Yeah.
Wonder if Will Smith and Jada Smith made an appearance. I know they deny. I don't believe them. But Sandy and Kirsten are like, let's go. And then she's like, we don't have to go. Right.
And then, of course, we see one person put their watch in a fishbowl looking thing. Which we come to find out that, everybody does. And as we don't have to go. And then as he slowly starts walking up to the bowl, takes his watch off.
He's like, give me a sign. You don't want to do this.
Tell me that we're leaving, please. Like, tell me. And then.
But Haley's planted all these seeds in Kirsten's head that she's like, we are staying.
We're in a rut.
Even though you can tell they're both super uncomfortable with the prospect of staying.
Yes, very much so. So then he drops the watch in the fishbowl.
Yeah. And they're like, staying. Game over.
Yeah. It's swingers night. Apparently, this is a annual festivity, as we also find out later
I like that they're like, in Newport, they're like, all bets are off on New Year's only.
Yeah.
I don't understand like who all these other people are that like Taryn knows, but none of the other Noopsies know she's a swinger.
Right.
One night a year.
Yeah. I feel like this would be the great topic of conversation at the next Noopsie event. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you came in all hot about Luke and his mom and dad.
Right,
like,
but you're a swinger?
Like, okay, Taryn, that wasn't very publicly accepted in 2003. That would have been some groundbreaking, like, I'm not going to be friends with her anymore. Like,
right. She would have been casted out just like, anybody else that they try to cast out in the
1,000%.
So Ryan and Seth are trying to shut down the party, and then she locks them in the pool room. I have so many questions about this.
How do they not have keys to like I don't get it. It's weird they can get locked in.
It's weird they can get locked in. Right? It's so weird that you can get locked into the pool room, but like the lock's not from the other side, right?
Yeah, it's very weird. But I guess because it's like an external part of their house.
Yeah,
it's just like weird.
It's just the whole situation is weird because I guess for me in my head, it's like if I'm Ryan and Seth, I'm thinking to myself, what is one broken window versus an entire house being destroyed?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, they wouldn't have cared.
No. Like, I would have smashed a window to get me out of that room. Like, I wouldn't have just done what they did and just lay there and, Seth call out Ryan about how, Oliver's about to make some moves on his own.
Also, question, why don't they just call Kirsten and Sandy?
Because there should be a phone in the...
And they have cell phones.
Right. Yeah.
I would have just called. Because you know how many times they've been in the pool house and the house phone has rang and they've had it?
Yes.
They should have just called Kirsten and Sandy.
How Seth acts is hilarious here, though.
I love that Ryan calls him a lunatic.
He's like, I
Because
can't
he
breathe.
starts,
I
yeah,
can't
he's like,
breathe.
my
I'm
shirt is
claustrophobic.
choking me. Ryan's like, I sleep in here. Like, there's a kitchen.
Oh, God. Yeah, he says Marissa's kissing another guy, and I'm stuck in here with a lunatic.
Hilarious. But then their conversation like transitions to be like really serious. And I'm like, how long were they in there?
Yeah, exactly. It's so
Because
weird.
he's like, you're a lunatic. And then he's like, do you love Marissa? And he's like, I've never said that before. I'm like,
What
how
just
long
happened?
has it been?
Right?
It's very
Because
weird.
then he asked him, he's like, well, are you going to pick one? You know what I mean? Like,
He's like, I didn't. And now it's too late. I'm like, I don't understand. How have they never talked about this stuff
I know.
before?
At this particular moment, this is the moment they decide they're going to talk about this while they're locked in the pool house.
It's very weird.
We transfer obviously to the swingers party, where there's
Taryn tells them they're in a rut. And I'm like, Taryn,
yeah.
stay in your own conversation.
Right?
And then
Get
they
your
show
own rut.
Summer. Yeah, like they show Sandy flirting or having like a open, loving conversation.
Yeah.
And he's just talking because to me,
he's being Sandy.
yeah, that's the thing. It's only suspicious or whatever, or like uncomfortable because of the situation they're in.
Right.
Because that's how Sandy looks talking to anyone.
Right. He could have been talking to Jimmy, and that's exactly what he would look like.
He just like is a good like charismatic guy who no matter who he's talking to looks like they're having a nice time. Even Caleb.
Yeah, exactly.
Caleb hates him, wants to kill him, but like they look like they're having fun.
Yeah. Like, so obviously she preys upon this and says, well, look at Sandy. It looks like he's having a good time.
And now Kirsten wants to swing.
Yeah. She's all in now.
I guess she doesn't want to swing, but she wants to play the game.
Yeah, she's emotionally invested in the game now as well.
Talks to Bob.
We then transition over to Summer and Anna.
Kind of have a serious conversation.
Yes, very much so.
They don't want to drink. They're bored. Some other guy is looking in their direction. Yeah. And Summer is like, you know what? Who are you looking at? Yeah. And Anna's like, you cannot do this. And she's like, no. She's like, not again. She's like, who are you looking at? And then Anna's like, he's not really my type. And she's like, what is your type, Seth Cohen? She's like, yeah. Like, that's my type.
Yeah, right. And then it was kind of like a moment from there. It's like, oh, wait a minute.
Then Anna gets all sad.
Yes. Oh my, it's so, she's just like heartbroken on the couch then. You know what I mean?
It's weird.
It's super weird.
Also, like, who did she go to that party with?
I think Anna, I guess she just kind of showed up.
It's very weird.
Because she's friends with the people that are like her parents are friends or whatever. She's like, I love when she says someone has to choose between us. Let's see here. So Oliver then is back to his ways again. He sneaks in the, I think was Marissa says something along the lines of talking about, she's now obviously opening her entire storybook to Oliver himself. And says, brings up the fact that Ryan didn't say, she loved him back. So then, of course, he preys upon that. And he's planting the seed in Marissa's head that Ryan probably doesn't really love her. And
okay, can I ask a question?
Yes.
A normal person would not respond like that, right? Like,
no.
They'd be like, maybe he's just not ready. Like you said, a person you've known maybe a week, you wouldn't be like, I just don't think he loves you.
Right. You don't even know the person.
What are you doing? It's so icky. I just hate him so much. I know he suffers from some problems, but it is not an excuse and makes people going through problems look bad because not everyone that deals with mental health issues is a psychopath like Oliver.
Exactly. I love when Sandy Cohen, pleasure swinging with you.
So weird. He's a funny guy.
He goes, so you want to swing? I'm swinging.
He's like, not now, Bob. He's like, oh, did you like talking about pigeons with Bob? I like that, like, it's okay if Sandy's having fun, but Kirsten, like, pretends to have fun. He is belittling the situation. He's like,
oh, absolutely.
Like, so pigeons? Like, so funny.
Then we have the female mob show up, is what I'm going to call them. looking for
They
Haley.
bust in, like, they all look the same. Like, same outfit, same hairdo, same everything. Like, it's like when you'd buy, like, a doll and she, like, came in 3 different variations. Like, it was just the same kind of outfits, but different. Same hair, but different. Like,
Exactly.
it's so you know they're, like, a gang. You know? Not like a
Right.
gang, but, like,
No, but
they're a force.
yes.
They're here to get Haley. And then Haley
Yes.
now wants Ryan's help.
Yes.
And they turn off the power, say the
Yeah.
cops are coming, and clear out
Yeah.
the party. Because they tell us how long there is until midnight, they then tell us how long this took. It took 11 minutes, which I don't buy for a second.
No, not
There
yeah.
were so many people in that house.
There's a lot of people in that house, like people everywhere, right? You know,
Every
upstairs,
room.
downstairs, all the way around. There was so many people at that pool area when they first panned. So there was probably at least a couple hundred people here.
No way in 11 minutes that I can clear it out. But
by just turning the power off.
So, but they all turned the power off. Everyone is apparently gone. No more girls trying to get Haley money.
House is destroyed.
But Seth is like, go get your woman.
Yes.
I got this.
Haley's like, yeah, we can clean this up. And Seth's like, we? Like, what?
Wait, go back? Like, who said we?
Back to the swinger party. We are now back.
Picking watches.
It's watch picking time. You pick a watch, you then go swing with whoever's watch it is. So the ladies go up, and one by one, we get pick by pick by pick, and slowly but surely. And then, of course, the noopsie there has got eyes. She's like hoping
for Sandy.
This is it. There's like 2 watches left. There's 2 watches left. Very strange, because if there's 2 watches left, but there's 3 men left, so we obviously already know there's something going on here. Something fishy. She goes in and she picks up a watch, and it was some random guy, just very dopey looking, not very attractive, and she was very upset by it, but apparently not upset enough not to go.
Yeah. And she's like, I hope you have better luck than me, Kirsten.
Yes.
And then the last woman standing picks a watch.
Yep.
And then leaves, and there's no more watches left.
Just Sandy and Kirsten.
And then Sandy pulls it out of his pocket.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It was a very, very
smooth move.
Very, very smooth move by Mr. Sandy Cohen. I liked it a whole lot. It was a very dramatic, very climactic scene there. Very sweet, because as much Sandy had fun that night, there was no way in hell Sandy was going to.
He knew in his mind, like, he was leaving with Kirsten.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, there is. Yeah. Ryan is stuck in traffic for what seems like forever.
Why is there traffic at like 11:50? Like, I don't understand traffic at like 11 and then like 12:15.
Right.
I don't understand traffic.
Do you guys have like big old fireworks go off at midnight and stuff there?
Yeah, but like you would be where
you need to be, right? Yeah, because there's only supposed to be like 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not like you're gonna be in your car 5 minutes before midnight. Like, you'd be in your car like trying to secure to be wherever you need to be by like 11:30.
Exactly.
And then people that run out of wherever they're at, like at midnight, there would be traffic at like 12:15. But there's no way there's traffic at like 11:57.
No, not at all.
That's the time, like, if you want something, that's a good time to go get something.
Exactly, because you could run and could be back by 12 o'clock. You could be back in like 5 minutes. Like,
so I don't get that plot hole there. But
Anna's sad.
She's leaving.
Summer's sitting there with the guy that they kind of had
from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
She doesn't seem thrilled at all. Annabelle's in the party.
She hugs Marissa, makes a point. I once again wrote down, are Anna and Marissa friends?
I don't understand. Like, they show more affection as friends to each other than Summer
and Marissa. It's so weird.
And then of course we transition into Oliver. That says, at least we have each other.
My next note is, I hate Oliver. I didn't even know what happened anymore. I just wrote, I hate Oliver. But I hate him. That's so like predatory to be like, at least we have each other. Like, and it's like he was probably watching Anna because Anna has some like insight to him.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I don't understand, but
absolutely. Sandy, Kirsten walk in the house. House is destroyed.
I like that it's so destroyed. It's not like you have to walk in to see it. Like you can open the door
Right.
and see it.
Exactly.
It's just horrible. Horrible.
As soon as you walk in the door, it's awful.
Why is the couch upside down? What happened to put the couch upside down?
I don't know.
Like, I genuinely mean that. Like, I don't understand.
How did they get out of the house with the lights turned off with the couch flipped upside down? Like, without somebody running into it?
Yeah, maybe that. But that's not what
happened. And if they got him out in, like, 11 minutes, right? You know what I mean? They got him out super fast.
Maybe there was, like, a stampede. Like, who knows? Very weird. But I would kill Haley if I were Kirsten. Oh, my God.
Kirsten is a livid.
I like that when they walk in, Kirsten thinks it's funny because she's kind of like suffering like a mental breakdown. Like she's like, this is our house. Like, I'm not scared. But I like that Sandy just leaves so Kirsten can handle it. It's her sister.
Yeah.
But he's like, I expect to wake up to a clean house in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you? Like,
yeah. Do you see how much damage? Like you're just seeing the surface.
Yeah, you haven't gone into any.
You haven't gone to any of the rooms,
anything.
Which then, of course, he does, and he goes, "I should really knock in case there's a threesome going on in my own bedroom."
Like, do they leave also? Like the people that are in the bed, like when you leave right away.
Not only that, do they sleep in that bed that night?
I mean, they showed him changing the sheets. Like, I wouldn't sleep in it.
There's no way. I love how Haley walks away from the conversation and goes, wait, she's like, I'll just finish in the morning. Well, no, what?
No, like finish now.
And like, shit.
And there's like food. Like, it's not just like.
Exactly.
It's weird.
It's very weird. Very, very, very strange moment here. Let's see here. Anna, I didn't want to be alone. Obviously, guess who she shows up to see?
Seth.
She plays the smart one here over Summer. Surprise. And obviously Seth cannot be serious. Like it's just, he's like, I was just spending my night with Captain Oates and Carson Daly. And then he said, and then of course he said Captain Oates had a little too much to drink. Too much champagne. Of course we got Ryan making a run for it. This very climactic moment where Oliver thinks he's about to get his groove.
They show the scene Haley described playing out.
100%.
He like looks around, nobody's around. They cut to Ryan running. They cut back to Oliver. He's kind of like doing like a move so he can like block her from anybody else.
He's making a move. They're making moves. It's gonna happen. He's gonna walk. Like, I mean, if you're watching this for the first time, you have this thought in your head that he's going to walk in on
to them kissing,
right? Like they build it up as that too, right?
But I just want to say, shame on Marissa for making him think it's a possibility.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It's not Marissa's fault per se.
No.
But just like she's kind of like leading him to be like, I have a bad boyfriend. Like I don't really like this.
Yep.
So the situation's been set, but Ryan makes it. And it's like so happy. Marissa's like lights up. Like she's so happy to see him.
Storms right in. And then
I like that he ran like how many stories, but still has the breath to kiss her.
Yeah. Oh my God. And like make it like a heavy make out, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't just
like
smooch. It was like a heavy
with
make.
Some slow-mo.
Yep. And then of course, and then of course we see Kirsten in the bedroom. She's got a little, negligee or whatever, lingerie, whatever you want to call it.
Or Sandy has his watch.
Yep. And then they just have this little moment. It was very sweet. I loved it.
To me, it proves they're not in a rut because they could have fun, but they still went home together.
Exactly.
It's a solid foundation.
I loved it. And then of course we have Anna and Seth
making out
in the bed together. Just
My parents would have been like, what? No.
Yes.
Seth can do whatever he wants.
Summer kissing the random dude, and then she screams out loud,
"You're not Seth Cohen."
Not Seth Cohen, which was very sweet. And then Ryan says the words, "I love you."
And Marissa responds, "Thank you."
Thank you. Right.
But it was a cute moment. Like they came full circle.
It really did.
Like she accepts him saying it, but she still had to jab him a little bit because it's pretty funny. But I just like that the whole episode revolved around making fun of Ryan.
Exactly.
I think every single person made fun of him.
Exactly.
I wonder what Marissa's therapist will say about it.
Do you have a fun fact?
I do. This is the first episode where Summer and Julie are considered series regulars. They're in the intro.
Oh.
Julie's not
Okay.
even in the episode.
She's the first episode. She's considered a series regular, not even in the episode. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
MVP.
Okay. I went Ryan again.
Did you?
I feel like he just like he had to work through some emotions.
Yeah.
But he admitted his feelings by the end, and I like that.
Yeah. He had a very good character development throughout this.
Like, because he owned up to being like, I've just never said it. Like, how do you know?
Right.
And the more time he spent with it, the more time he realized, like, I do love her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he didn't just try to make a thing out of it. Like, he just said it back to her.
Yeah.
Like, at his own pace.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I went Sandy. I feel like he let Kirsten have her
freak out. But
right.
he didn't tell her, like, you're wrong, like, stop.
No. Right.
Like, he let her do what she needed.
Yep.
And then they were fine.
Yeah, exactly. Let her develop these rut ideas, get them through her head, and then get them out of her head, and then realize
they could be bad feelings, but because they're so secure, that he
exactly.
knows if she just goes through the motions, it'll all be fine.
Exactly, 100%.
I almost went Sandy, but I kind of
I could see where you would go, Ryan. It's a very good.
You know
episode
who this episode is not MVP for? Seth. Just like you don't have claustrophobia. Like, stop.
So bad. But all right, folks, do us a favor. Head on over to Twitter and give Kenzie a follow at Kenz Vanunu. Give myself a follow at Ricky Valer _. We thank you so much for continuing to support and listening to the show. It's really amazing to see you guys just even 14 episodes and still listening with us. Thank you so much for everything. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.